You're listening to CRBRadio.com. The words and opinions you are about to hear are of the hosts and do not reflect the management, sponsors, or affiliates of Cave Radio Broadcasting.
Yo, Dre, I got something to say.
Yo, what's up, guys? What a lovely, sweet song that is. That is dedicated
one
to
of my favorites.
one of Brian's favorites.
One of my favorites.
It's one of Chris's favorites. That's one of Anthony's. He was over here dancing.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, well, who is that? That's Easy E. All right. Guys, it's Righteous Rick, Detroit's own loudmouth. We got Congressman wannabe hopeful Brian Ellison.
No,
Brian, what's
bro,
up,
that ended, man. The campaign ended. I'm no longer a congressman hopeful.
Oh, God.
I get to be just Brian Ellison until I declare my next candidacy, which is going to be fun, by the way. That we'll be announcing that in a few weeks, but we got some great ideas.
So what are you going to be what are you going to be when you grow up?
I can't tell you. It's a secret. We have to maintain, some. We got to get people having some anticipation of what the announcement's
well,
it's going to be a good one, though.
Well, they're anticipating. They thought you was going to run for Congress. Then all of a sudden, stick your mouth up to that. Okay, guys, so it's Rick, Brian. Today we got a special guest in the studio. It's my son, Anthony. Anthony, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going. We got Chris over there. Big Chris.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Not much.
Not much. Chris is real serious. Not much. So I like that Power Ranger sticker you got over there. Over there. That's sweet looking. He's looking at right there on what is that? The fucking computer over there. He can't even see it. Chris, by you. The Power Ranger sticker. I can see it. It looks. Is that what it is?
No, it says Fun House.
It says fuck the police. Okay.
You
That's why we had
your
to,
eyes checked, bro.
yeah, I guess so. So, guys, today, this is a no-nonsense kind of show or whatever, and we'd like to get some calls in after a while. What time do you think, Brian?
I think we should take calls whenever they come in.
Okay.
We tried to set a time last time and we didn't get any calls. Specifically, if you're a cop, call, please. We would love to talk to you. The call-in number here is 313-879-5059. That's 313-879-5059. If you got a comment, a question, you want to call in, you just want to break some balls, give us a call. We're going to be here, and we'd be happy to talk to you until we decide to hang up.
I'm so used to it. You guys call in, say what you want. This is what's cool about these shows, Brian. People want to say what they want to say, and they can say what they want. I mean, honest to God, call up. It'd be really funny if an officer from Washington Hall or Royal Oak would call in. That's about as likely as getting that brand new bike for Christmas you always wanted when you was a kid.
Not going to happen.
I know it's not.
I'll tell you what. I would give props to any one of them that did call in. But you know how that works. I mean, without their gun on their hip and the badge on their chest and the bulletproof vest, I mean, they not shit, right? I mean, like,
you need a vest to call in this show.
Yeah. You should definitely.
Oh yeah, you definitely would need to be protected to call on this show. I think it would be. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be fun. You guys call. I mean, how cool would that be? Here, I'm going to put the thing on the video here because I didn't, but it's CRB Radio. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do that. I think most people know, but if you don't know, it's CRB Radio, and so Brian, what's new? What's going on? What's happening? We haven't, heard much of you. You've been kind of quiet. Everything good? Everything okay?
I got that last time. Felt somebody said I didn't talk enough, and I felt like you were doing enough talking for the both of us. So I just let you go.
Okay, well that's not what I meant.
He never shuts up.
But oh my God,
no,
that's
so
not what I meant. But okay, since you want to be that, I meant you've been kind of quiet this week.
Oh yeah, well we had the election. So on Tuesday was the election. I was running for U.S. Congress in Michigan's 8th district, and anybody in the Detroit area that's been paying attention saw ads nonstop for two of the competitors in that race. That would be Mike Bishop and Alyssa Slotkin, and I'm happy as hell that I don't have to see their faces on TV anymore. But we got in that election, we came up to almost 2% of the vote, which was really kind of what my goal was. Really, my goal was to cover the gap between the two. But what ended up happening in that race is the Democrat flipped it and won in a district that's been historically Republican for quite some time. So that was kind of a big deal. So Mr. Mike Bishop, I guess technically still Representative Mike Bishop, I did try and reach out to you on Twitter today, bud, but I know you're a lawyer. Depending on what type of law you practice, hit me up because lately I've been needing a lawyer quite a bit. Maybe we can help each other out.
Oh, that's funny. So let's ask everybody this. We'll take a poll here and people calling in. What do you think about the governor? Truthful.
What do I think about the current governor or the governor elect?
No, fuck Schneider. I'm talking about the one we just got.
Honestly, my opinion is who cares? Like what you get from these political candidates is a bunch of rhetoric during election cycle, and then they're not going to do any of the things that they talked about. So what does it matter who wins? The government's going to suck regardless. So we can celebrate and we can pretend like we're happy that one person won over the other. I will say, however, that I did hear something about Gretchen Whitmer potentially offering pardons to people who were convicted of marijuana-related offenses, and I think that's fantastic news. So,
not a chance. Do you know how many people they'd have to release if they put it retroactive? You breaking shit?
Throwing stuff over there, man. What do we got?
See, this
going
is
on?
why they shouldn't legalize drugs.
Is that what you came in here doing? Well, let me see your eyes there.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, wink to
Clear?
the camera.
All right.
I haven't smoked none today, man.
If they retroactivate that, they would have to let out a ton of people.
Well, hey, we'd
have
hopeful.
a fucking flood. I don't think that's going to happen. Nope.
Hey, she said it.
Yes, she said
Rick,
it, so
Rick,
you'd go out and fucking vote for her.
Do politicians? No, she said it after. Like I saw it on the news today.
Did you see when she gave the
politician
middle finger
lie?
to you too?
Seriously,
why would they lie?
Why would a politician lie?
Why would he tell the truth?
Come on, man. Well, you know what? Here's a story of a. I'm not obviously.
There's
I'm not
a story
really,
of a man named Brian.
Obviously, I'm not really a politician, but I play one in my spare time.
I voted for
occasionally.
you.
Did you?
Yeah, that vote that you got, that secret one.
That's fantastic.
That was me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had to.
So
I would have felt guilty.
I did try and use a political strategy, and a week before the election, I announced on Twitter that I changed my mind about cops, and I loved cops, and I was a huge fan of cops, at least until November 6th. So I don't know how much it helped. You know, I got I don't know 6,300 votes or something like that. Hopefully, some of those people responded to that because I really did love cops for that 5 or 6 days. I'm back to not loving them
I
anymore.
was going to say, how long did that last?
You know, it happens. That's
you know what? That's
politicians
short-lived
have to
shit.
do.
I mean, if we're on the subject of loving people, I used to love Jeffrey from Toys R Us. Remember?
Jeffrey the giraffe, yeah.
And then that big fuck never gave me the bicycle with the yellow mag wheels I never got. Fuck him.
He lied to you.
I hope he fucking hits that tree when he slides down.
You'd circle what you want for hours and you didn't get shit out of it.
Well, don't make me feel bad.
Yeah. Come on, Dad. What you didn't get?
I used to circle the same bike in the catalog every year. I never got it. So if anybody wants to buy me anything, I want a PK Ripper with the yellow mag.
So what you're saying is that politicians are a lot like Santa Claus and shitty parents?
Yes.
Full of empty promises.
You guys got a call.
Yo,
hello.
This is Brian and Rick. Who we got on the line?
Yes.
What's up, Chad? Hold on there, Chad. I guess the people listening can't hear you.
They're saying, yeah.
They're saying they can't hear you calling in. So What Chad was just talking about was the problem with where people not wearing helmets, and the reason why they're allowed to not wear helmets is that and you may have to correct me if I get this wrong, Chad, but that they don't wear helmets, that way they can get unlimited lifetime medical care at our expense. Is that basically what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, can you hear me? Is it going on? What I'm saying is, if you're getting a motorcycle accident,
So
if
you get in a motorcycle accident without a helmet, go ahead.
Your odds of surviving are less than if you had a helmet on.
Your odds of surviving are less if you had a helmet on. Yeah, I agree with that.
Sure.
Okay. The insurance, the police are there for the insurance companies. The police, if you die in a motorcycle accident without a helmet on, and you paid the fine and the tax to have the motorcycle helmet repeal thing, you hit the curb, you die. The insurance company doesn't have to pay you lifelong benefits to continue your physical rehab and take care of you your entire life. Correct?
Sounds about right, Brian. That sounds right.
Okay. So why won't they let you drive a car without a seatbelt on?
Because the pig's got to have a reason to pull you over, bro. That's it.
Not even exactly. Well, you know what? You're touching on a point. But why would they do that? Because the insurance companies pay the cops.
They got quotas.
You see, now, here's the deal. You get in an accident and you've got a seatbelt on, you're not going to have many injuries, less likely injuries. You get in an accident without a seatbelt on, you're going to get banged around in the car. You're not necessarily going to die where they don't have to really take care of you for life. You're dead. You're done. You're gone.
But who's they? Why would somebody else have to take care of you for life if you get in an accident and you're not wearing a seatbelt? Shouldn't you be responsible for your own actions?
Well, here's the deal. Michigan law.
You might be onto something here, bud. Michigan law.
We have a winner.
That's it, Michigan law. So Michigan law says that if you are irresponsible, that becomes the taxpayer's problem. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, not even that. Are you responsible if you ride a motorcycle with a helmet off?
I would say that.
I say yes.
I mean,
because you can wear a helmet or not.
You guys agree, right?
I think you're fucking stupid if you don't wear a helmet.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
There you go. So, but why would the insurance companies agree to let you not wear a helmet if you pay a little subsidy to them?
You just answered your own question.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I'm saying that. I'm posing a question.
it's because life insurance is cheaper than health insurance. I think that's where you're going with this.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. So now, back to the seatbelt thing. It's the exact same thing. Life insurance is cheaper than death insurance. So now you get in a car accident, you don't have your seatbelt on, you bang your head up, and you're crippled. Do you think that the police actually care if you're in a car without your seatbelt on? No, but they've been told to prosecute this because the insurance companies subsidize. Why wouldn't they be told to prosecute somebody that's on a motorcycle without a helmet?
Because there's no law against it anymore. They used to do it all the time. So the seatbelt law is essentially, it's in place again in order. It gives a police officer an excuse to pull you over. They can visibly see whether or not you're wearing a seatbelt, and they pull you over. So here let me give everybody a rundown on how this works with the seatbelt. So I'm driving down the road, and I don't have my seatbelt on. I'm minding the speed limit. There's no traffic. I'm not hurting anybody. But Mr. Officer Stinky Pants over here sees me driving down the street with no seatbelt on. And so he whips out into traffic. He cuts people off. Mm-hmm. He speeds 100 miles an hour up to catch me. He puts on his lights, makes me pull over in traffic. And so I stop. Now there's a hazard with his flashing lights, and everybody's driving around, and hopefully there's no accident. Right. He comes up to my window, and he says, "Hey, bud, you weren't wearing your seatbelt. I'm going to write you this ticket. Because you weren't being safe." and I say, okay, well, what if I don't pay the ticket? What happens? Well, you have to pay the ticket. Okay, well, what if I don't? Well, then we're gonna take you to court. Well, what if I don't come to court? Well, then we're gonna come get you. What do you mean you're gonna come get me? We're gonna come get you, and we're gonna put you in handcuffs, and we're gonna take you, and we're gonna lock you in a cage, and then we're gonna take you in front of the judge, and you're gonna have to explain yourself to the judge, and you're gonna have to spend some time in jail.
Exactly.
Does that make anybody safer?
And this just happened to me a week ago. So tell me this though: could I pay an extra little excise fee for the non-seatbelt law? I mean, you can do it for a helmet.
Are you suggesting
Why can't
that
you do it for a seatbelt?
Are you suggesting that it should be okay for us to pay the government a fee to have our right to be free to do what we want to do?
No, you get me all wrong. See, we already have to do that to pay the fee for the motorcycle helmet law, right? I don't, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe you don't understand that when you can pay an extra fee to not have a helmet on.
So, okay, let me ask you this.
You pay an extra fee to not have a seatbelt on?
Let's back up. Who owns your head, Chad?
Well, I own my head.
You do? Says who?
Well, I do.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you, right? Obviously, you you own your own head.
Other than me, who would own my head?
You make an excellent point, and so that's my point as well. So you own your head. So if you decide not to protect your head, whose choice is that?
Right. That's my choice. Exactly. I don't know if you're catching me right here, but that's the point I'm getting at. You can pay a fee to not own your head. Or actually, no, you're paying a fee to own your head if you don't wear a helmet. You can't pay that same fee, be in a car without a seatbelt.
I get his point.
I get the point too, but I think I get your point 100%. But true. I think that the premise, I think, from what you're saying though, is that maybe that we should be allowed to pay a fee so that we don't have to wear a seatbelt. And what I would say,
well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. The insurance companies are basically the pit bosses of the entire gambling racket. And the insurance companies sit back and they say, let me see, what are the odds on this guy? What are the odds on this guy? Insurance companies don't bank on you surviving. They bank when you die.
So wait, hold on. If we back up,
money when you have to lay up on a ventilator in a room for 6 years.
So are you suggesting that it's actually the insurance companies that make laws and not the elected politicians?
Absolutely.
Holy shit! Lobby. I think that you make a great point.
Maybe he's on to something.
I think that you make a great point. So in other words, the people that when we go to vote and we vote for our quote representatives, are they the ones really making the decisions?
No, they're getting paid. Honest. Okay. Perfect example. This young girl that got hired and voted in New York, the Ocasio bill. She says she can't afford rent. Let me tell you something. In another year, she'll be a millionaire on a $175,000 a year salary.
Of course she will. That's what I mean. Why do you think I was running for Congress? I was trying to be a millionaire too.
I voted for you.
All right.
Here's the deal, though, and I'm sorry, I digress. But back to the point. Why can you pay a little fee, ride your motorcycle without a helmet? Why can't you pay a little fee and drive your car without a seatbelt?
You can. It's called a $50 ticket.
Of you dying are greater without a helmet on a motorcycle, where the insurance company doesn't have to pay out millions of dollars to take care of you for the rest of your life, as opposed to the fact that if you're in a car and you get banged around in that bubblegum box and you're basically unable to self-sustain,
All right, I get
multiple years.
You know
All
what
right.
would be a good one, Brian, for Chad? Chad, let's see if we can get a cop to call in to answer that one.
Yeah, let's see.
Because that'd be.
You know what? That would be a great thing.
Let's do that. Let's get a.
Let's see if we can get a cop. Great points, Chad. I think that's excellent. The only place where I disagree is to suggest that I would offer the government any additional money that they already steal from me just to allow me to not wear a seatbelt.
But here's the deal. I never said I'm offering the government anything. What I'm saying is people without motorcycle helmets have already offered that to them. Why would they take that offer? Why would they take that offer knowing the risks? I mean, they're here for our safety. They won't let us risk driving around the streets without a seatbelt on.
No,
Why would they take the offer to let somebody drive around the streets without a helmet on?
I think that you've
chase the money down.
I think that you've made your point. I think that we agree. I think your point basically amounts to the fact that the government sucks. So, thank you for calling in, and let's see if we can get a cop. Let's see if we can get a cop to call in and see if they can't participate and help answer that question of why the seatbelt law is different than the helmet law. I think that's an excellent point.
Yo, Chad, be cool, buddy. Long-winded and yeah.
I mean, he made some good points.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only part where I think I disagree is like
he said pay.
Right? Why would we want to
Fuck
pay
that.
anything?
You give them more money
No.
to have rights that you should already have.
Exactly. Tell the government to fuck off
So,
and get out of
yeah.
my business. If I don't want to wear a seatbelt, I shouldn't have to wear a seatbelt. And if I get in an accident and I'm a quadriplegic, just it's easy. A 45 to the back of the skull, that's real cheap. Like, so let's not kid ourselves here. But that gets to the point of personal responsibility, and people don't want to assume personal responsibility when the government sets up a safety net for you. So, but that's the paradigm that we're working in, and that's what I guess we need to change. We need.
Oh, well, you know what? I gotta say something, Chad. You disguised your voice, dude. I went to school with Chad. You disguised your voice, man. That's why I couldn't. That's why I couldn't understand. He said, "How does he listen live?" CRBradio.com.
Yeah, and I think we're on Studio One. So if you go to CRBradio.com and click on Studio One, you can listen live. The podcast also gets put up later, so if you can go back later, you can listen to last week, the pilot episode. And I have been uploading. I just today uploaded last week's episode onto YouTube on my YouTube channel, Brian Ellison. And it's it's not a real dynamic video, but you can at least listen to the audio. The next one will be more of a dynamic video because we do have video in the studio today. And so the next podcast will have some video to go along with it.
Well, and, since it's new, I mean, it's like anything, Brian. Let's be honest. It's new, it's raw, it's fresh, it's clean, it's whatever anybody wants. You know what I mean? But once it takes off and we get into it, and Chad, sorry, I didn't know it was you, dude. You didn't say it was DeSantis. You just said,
why'd you just give his name, man? He was trying to be anonymous.
No, he's not.
He would have said his last name.
He's cool as hell. I went to school with him, but for anybody calling, try not to be all fucked up before you call.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
I'm just kidding, Chad.
All right. I got
My
something.
buddy.
So here's something that came up this week that I wanted to talk about. So
there we go.
Ricky, did you hear about the police dog that was shot and killed this week?
Yep.
All right. Tell me about it.
From what I read or gather, that young black kid fired on the dog and killed him. And a lot of people, I've read a lot of mixed. I've read mixed things. Fuck him, he should fry. And some people said, fuck it, it's only a dog. So.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your opinion? Should he fry, or is it only a fucking dog?
The problem now is a canine dog is the same thing as an officer.
All right, stop.
That's what they
stop
say.
Worrying about. Okay,
dude,
let's pretend.
Telling you
let's pretend that
what they
that
say.
That bullshit laws don't exist. Is it fuck it? Is it he should fry, or fuck it? It's just a dog.
If the dog attacked him for no reason, absolute no reason, then no. Well, it is.
What do you mean no reason? So he is.
If he was in the middle of a burglary and they sicked the dog on him, then he deserves to get bit. What the fuck? If he's coming out of your house with your TV, hey man, I don't know what the fuck.
So what you're saying is then that if you're committing a crime,
yes,
and somebody starts attacking you relentlessly, let's pretend it's a person.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Are you saying that you have now forfeited your right to self-defense?
Nope.
Okay. So
you always have a right to self-defense.
So if a dog's
our
coming
forefathers, our forefathers gave us that right to defend ourselves.
Right. Absolutely. So
against tyranny and what else? A whole lot of anything.
So whatever the situation was. Ooh, we got another caller. All right. Remind me so we can get back to
I
this
like
dog
that
thing.
music. Hello.
I want to fight Righteous Rick.
Hey, you motherfucker. What's up, dude?
Hey, I shot 278, won $445.
This is Petroni's cut above, my goofy ass fucking cousin. He's bowling right now.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you too, buddy.
Hey, Mikey, what's up, buddy? We love you. Hey, Anthony's here.
Hey, Anthony, what's happening?
Hi, cousin Mikey.
All right. Well, we always want to hear about you. Tell us how can people get a hold of you in your service?
My number, that's good.
Okay, well,
9374.
what's the area code, numb shit?
586.
Say it again.
586-770-9374.
What is it you do?
You do fall cleanup?
I do everything. You name it, I do it.
Wow.
You give hand jobs?
Yeah, if you want, but I'm not gay.
All right. Well, Mikey, you know I always love you because I always talk about you. But anyways, guys, my cousin's goofy as fuck, but he is fantastic. Petroni's cut above. He's fantastic. So if anybody needs fall cleanup, he'll probably break in your house and rob you too if you want.
Snow removal, anything you need.
I mean, this guy does everything. All right, cuz we'll have a good what?
You got to bring Brian to the UFC fight party.
Okay. We'll bring Brian there. Hey, he's a tough guy. He's like 112 pounds. He's a badass.
Oh, go fuck yourself, bro. 112 pounds. Come on.
Yeah.
112 pounds soaking wet. Get it right.
We'll hang out and party.
Okay, we got to bring him over. Cuz go win some more money, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Kick
All right.
some ass.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
All right. Bye, Anthony.
Later.
Hi, guys.
All right. Bye.
That's my goofy. He's goofy as fuck, but he's so cool. And his business. He talks shit. But remember that movie, The Lawnmower Man, and that Stephen King movie.
Man, you are really dating yourself, bud. I mean, that's
like
an
old. Well, no, that's
early '90s or something.
That's late '80s, early. Anyways, that's my cousin Job, the Lawnmower Man. But he's so. You know what? He's so good.
He's so good at riding the lawnmower.
Dude, he will make your lawn look like the fucking 9th green at Warwick Hills. Like, seriously.
That's good.
He's goofy, but...
So if you miss the phone number, wait for the podcast to come out and rewind it.
Play it backwards when you're drunk, taking a piss and standing on your head, and you'll get it.
He'll answer 24 hours a day.
He will, too.
So, all right. So back to this dog thing. Is a dog a cop or is a dog a dog? So
they initiate him as a cop. Again, their laws. Here we go again. We're in their laws.
Bullshit laws.
It's
So what
their
we're
laws.
talking about. So here you have a situation where you have a guy who they knew was armed, right? The cops knew he was armed, and so what did they do? They sent the dog after him. So here's this dog, German Shepherd. They're violent dogs. He's coming after you. You have a gun. The dog's attacking you, biting you. What do? You shoot the fucking dog.
Well,
right?
I mean,
what does a cop do when a dog even looks at him? They don't even wait to get attacked.
Well, they shoot him.
see a dog.
As soon
and
as
they
they
shoot
see
and kill
teeth,
him, no problem.
pit bull.
Right?
As soon as they see a teeth, they'll shoot your dog.
Right.
And they passed a law that they can now.
They can do it, right? So the police can shoot a dog with impunity, no questions asked. However, if I'm being attacked by a police dog and I defend myself
You
from
go to
said
prison.
police dog,
You go to
now
prison.
I've just killed a police officer.
That's
right?
what they say.
What is the difference? There's absolutely no difference.
There's
Well,
no-
but it gives
the
them a right now to
fucking
open fire to
dog,
kill
right?
you.
And so now, because this guy, police can kill a dog, no problem. a regular person kills a police dog, and all of a sudden that this is a capital case, and the police can murder with impunity.
So what you're really trying to say, Brian Ellison, is the police have way too much authority and power over normal citizens?
The police
is that what you're trying to say?
The police are special. Hey, hey, will you do me a favor? Read the back of my shirt.
Okay. Brian's shirt says, badges not grant extra rights. Copblocksuckacock.org.
Well, it doesn't say suck a cock.
It says copblock.org.
Right. So the shout out to Cop Block, but
Cop Block.
The concept being that badges don't grant extra rights,
well,
but under the law they do, and that's the problem.
But you're preaching to the choir, because I don't agree with. Okay, here's a prime example. I was talking to somebody today, and they were in a traffic jam. Now, Brian, if there's a traffic jam, Chris, you can answer this too. If there's traffic and it's stopped, what do you have to do? You got to stop and wait for traffic, don't you?
In the logical world, yes.
In the really real world, you have to stop if there's construction or anything else. What do you got to do? You got to wait your turn. A fucking cop had his lights on, maneuvered through traffic just to get through the mess. He wasn't going anywhere because as soon as he got through it, he turned his lights off. Now, if you would have did that, you'd have been pulled over. Brian, you would have been raped, probably on the side of the road. They would have raped you, shot you, fucked you.
I'd fight back pretty good.
No, I know you can, but I'm just saying. But so again, here it is. So I guess what everybody's saying, and I wish people would call in and just admit it, cops have way too much authority. We give them a certain amount of authority, which they should have. But
no, they shouldn't.
A cop should have some authority. Well, because if your neighbor's being robbed, let's say, and your neighbor's an 88-year-old lady, Edna, and she calls the police, and there's two guys in there,
If your neighbor's being robbed, why doesn't she call you?
Well, I think she should defend herself and shoot him.
Well, yeah,
my opinion.
Yeah,
but if she's that sweet little church lady,
why is she in better shape? And we got another call coming in. This is great. We're actually getting calls, right? Bring them on.
I like the music. Hello. You're on the air. You hung up. What the fuck?
All right, we lost.
Don't hang up, guys. Call back.
But yeah, so my point is that if your neighbor needs help, she's much better off calling you. Yeah, I mean even you, right? She's better off calling you than the police because you could actually help her.
But that's not the way people have been trained.
That's right. This program is
yes.
This program is designed to retrain your mind.
Most people, not being rude, are what we call lab rats.
Sheep.
If everybody took care of yourself, if you ever watch the old movies, like the old Italian movies, being Italian, being Sicilian, if you ever watch them, the Bronx Tale and all them, everybody kept to themselves. Everybody took care of each other. You didn't fuck around. You know why? Because you knew it would happen. Your ass would be in the back in that fucking dumpster. And the sad thing is, I think society lost a lot of respect for each other because of black, white, and Hispanic and all that bullshit, and we have all that separation. So instead of everybody working together, Brian, instead of working together, because then what happens is you just hit the nail on the head. Edna would know to hit the little button and call Brian next door. Brian, I need help. Because guess what Brian's going to do? He's going to come over there, and anybody that's in her house, he's going to fucking shoot him.
And Brian's going to get there a lot quicker than the police. And
Brian's going to get there in 2 minutes where the cops... Did I don't know if I ever told you this, but I think this story needs to be told. And Anthony knows this story.
Ooh.
After the call.
We got another caller. Let's see. Hey, you're on Resistance to Tyranny with Brian and Rick. Who's on the line?
Yes, hi. My name is Marissa.
Hey, Marissa. And, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Oh, my God. What's up?
Fantastic.
How are you?
I'm good. So I was calling because I have some concerns with our state here and the mental health system.
Really?
You have concerns? Tell us more. Tell us about these concerns.
Okay, well, my concern is right here at my doorstep. I am a solely single mom to a very severely special needs child. And I have been fighting the system here in this state and in my county, and for a long time, about 3 years or so or more, and getting services or hospitalization or any kind of care seems to be null and void at times. And even when I do get it, my son, because he is high acuity, gets discriminated against even when I sit for up to 14 days at a time, even for a hospital bed. The contracted hospitals will deny him due to his violent tendencies, and they send him back to me.
Mercy, you're in Oakland County, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're in Oakland County. Now, will you do us a favor? Will you explain what your son has? Because some people are going to be like, what the fuck does that mean?
Okay. Well, there's multiple disabilities. My son's been diagnosed in every aspect. We've done medical background checks on this as well. He is autistic. He is diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. He is called disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, which is kind of like a pediatric bipolar. He is cognitively impaired to a moderate level, and he has intermittent explosive disorder, which is where he has anything from like a rage from like 5 to 50 minutes at a time, where he rages and has manic episodes. And it can happen sometimes 2 or 3 times in a day. And it's very explosive. He can destroy property. He uses weapons. We no longer allowed to have even butter knives in my home due to law now. And our house is kind of locked up now like a psychiatric unit.
And so this actually impacts your right. So your son's ill, and they've said that your entire household now is banned from defending yourself, from protecting yourself. So do you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about that? Because to me, it sounds like that makes you kind of a bigger target.
Well, it concerns me because we have children's protective rights and we have adult protective rights, but we don't have family protective rights. So when I go to do anything to try to restrain him, which I was taught through his organizations over the years, I've been told by CPS and by different organizations that I'm not allowed to. I have to allow him to physically harm me, call 911, and just embrace it and just take the impact.
Okay, and then, so let me cut in for a minute, because that is a dangerous thing to believe and for people to tell people, because and we talked about it briefly in the last episode. This happened in Royal Oak back in May, where a young man, 20-year-old man, I don't know what his mental issues were. I think more of his issues were substance abuse related and the issues that he had with the law. But he was having an issue where he had assaulted his parents, and his parents called the police for help. And what ended up happening is the police ended up murdering him in the middle of the street. And so that is an extremely dangerous thing to do. To rely on the police to help and to have to wait for your son to become violent. Once he becomes violent, you call the police and say, hey, my son was just violent with me, and when the police show up, they're more likely to shoot him than to help him, and that's a scary thought.
The biggest problem with that, Marissa, and we've spoke about this, is that the funding. So here lies the problem. The funding is gone, and it started with John Angler. So we can thank Angler, Brian, because he's the one that started taking away all the facilities. If Marissa, and I know Marissa, she's as sweet as can be. She's a very good person. She loves her kid, and she's doing everything she can. She's not one of them moms that rather just take a fucking bat and just deal with it. She actually loves her son and helps him. If she had a facility that Michigan had for her, that her son could go and get the help that he needed, she wouldn't be on the phone now asking, pulling her hair out. So there is where the problem is. Everybody bitches about funding. And Marissa, remember what I said today when I made a post? The problem in Michigan and people, and even that new fucking governor didn't say shit. The problem is Michigan. They're more worried about prisons. We have 52 prisons in Michigan. Brian, did you know that?
I think you mentioned it.
We have 52.
That's ridiculous. And
we
so 52
are a
prisons.
prison,
how many mental health care facilities do we have?
How many, Anthony, is in Michigan? 2, 3?
In Oakland County alone right now, we have, I think there's 2 that contract out that will take 2 for children that aren't developmentally delayed.
And
Havenwick will not take children that are autistic because they're not equipped.
There you go.
And Marissa,
Hawthorne will not.
And Marissa,
Hawthorne will take any of those.
How big are these facilities? So you say there's 2 facilities, but how many people can they actually help?
How big is Havenwick?
I'm not actually don't know exactly,
ballpark.
but I do know
they're not big.
The severity of my son's condition is that he can't be in the regular population of the children's units. He has to be in a more severe.
He's got to be in a more
situation.
controlled. Yeah. Yes. He's got to be
more.
in
They call it a SIPU unit, or where it's a high acuity, where it's a 2-to-1 ratio with nursing. So a lot of times the problem is when he goes through these tantrums or meltdowns, you would say, when we are allowed to give him something to calm him, nothing works anymore. And we're almost to the age of 13. So we're not even hitting puberty all the way yet.
Marissa,
and the intrusive thoughts and everything are becoming very frightening.
Marissa, let me ask you a question. Do you think that your kiddo, because I know your kiddo is smart, do you think that he knows the ramifications, or okay, so he knows mom. So mom could grab him a little bit or tell him to shut up or however, take his toys away or his video games. So do you think your kiddo knows the ramifications of what can happen and not happen? Maybe that's why he goes a little extra. He knows. You know what I mean?
I think that he knows that there's right and from wrong. What I think is he has no to low impulse control. And the problem is that his obsessive and intrusive thoughts and his rants, they take over, and then you can't get to him anymore. When those thoughts take over and possess him, you have to ride out the roller coaster ride. You have to just safely get him through it. It's something that you have to see it to believe it. It's something that I can't even explain to you unless you see it. I have video after video after video that I have presented after having to file lawsuits against my community of network just to get outpatient services because they've denied him access as well. And then they send staffing in my house at $9 an hour, but people at McDonald's want $15. But I got people in my house making $9 who think it's a babysitting job, come in here, have never worked and had never experienced a child with severe behavioral issues, and they run. They run away from my home. And these are the staff and the experienced people that are supposed to come in and help support me. It's scary.
Well, that's not support. It's not.
It's like a 2-to-1 ratio, and if he runs off, and even in public, he doesn't know how to behave or conform. I have neighbors that come out on the streets and scream in his face for attacking when he doesn't know how to behave, and they threaten him, and he starts getting back in their face because he doesn't know how to behave. And that's the problem.
Marissa, does your neighbors not understand that there's nowhere for you to go? Do they not see the problem? Instead of just pointing a dirty finger, oh, look at that lady.
No, Ricky,
her son's out of control.
If it doesn't affect you at your doorstep and it doesn't affect your daily living, then why would it matter to you?
And that
people are so judgmental nowadays.
Oh, I know.
To point the finger and sit on social media and go, oh, she was a bad parent. She didn't do this, and she let him play Halo and get on Xbox. I don't let my kid play on he doesn't even own a tablet.
Well, that's not the problem.
We do the things like the old school generation do. We play outside. I play with my kid. I don't let him sit in front of a boob tube and just, be obsessed with TV. Like, that's not.
But that's not the problem.
I don't raise my son that way.
But Marissa, that's not the problem, anyways. And you know that. I know what kind of mother you are, but that's not the problem. The deep issue is, one second, Anthony, because I know Anthony's got something to say. The biggest issue is lack thereof. Funding and facilities. Because when they closed them, and let me tell you what they do now, Marissa, when you hit that age. I've told Anthony, me and Brian have talked about it. If you fuck up in Michigan and you have a mental disorder and you fuck up, they throw you in prison. Okay?
Yes, I know.
Now you can do it. You
scary
can
thought.
yes, and you can search this. They take you to Dwayne Waters facility. Now remember I said that, Marissa, and look it up. Dwayne Waters. And let me tell you what they do to people in there. They put you in a Bam Bam suit, they call it. They put you in a room and they fuck you up and they fuck with you. And that is your life and that's your story. And I speak from experience because a lot of people don't know this. When I was incarcerated, I worked there. I saw everything. There are people that are in prison that are in that place that do not belong in prison. And you know why? Because there's no facilities. And here's what happened. Our great, wonderful governors of this great, wonderful state said, let's close facilities. You know why, Marissa? Because they said, fuck it. We need 52 prisons in Michigan. They came out and they said, there's $2.5 billion a year that goes to the prison system. Bullshit. It was at $3.4 billion. They lie. They close places because they rather just incarcerate and throw your ass away. You know why? Because you're $34,200 a year credit that they get. The other misconception is, well, fuck people in prison. They got cable TV. They live good. Motherfucker, you ain't never been to prison. So don't sit and talk shit about prison. The point of it is, Marissa, is there's a lot of moms like you. There's a lot of dads. There's a lot of people that are crying and screaming. And Gretchen, just like we spoke about today, that bitch ain't going to do nothing.
She's going to fix the roads.
Yeah, fuck the roads. Okay.
Like I said, I will live on a dirt road, and you'll never hear me complain not one day about it. But what I do worry about every single day, catastrophically, I can't live with the fact that I am the only person that will only take care of my son. And there is 1 in 5 children that will be mentally ill and are mentally ill in this state and this nation. And if we don't start working on it now, what are you going to do with all of us? What are you going to do? You're going to throw all of us away? You're either going to have to live with us and work side by side with us and figure something out, because you can't throw everybody out.
Well, eventually what's going to happen is your son's just going to get caught up in the criminal justice system, and that'll be how he spends the rest of his life.
Body.
That's how
that's
how the
wrong.
system is set.
And that's wrong.
It's absolutely wrong.
Absolutely
but unfortunately, that's how the system is set up right now. There's nothing in place to help.
I understand that, and you know what I can tell you, and I've been telling everybody, and I go into rants about this all the time. I have called the Attorney General's office. I have called the Senator David Robertson's office. I have called Snyder's office. I have called Michigan Department of Human and Health Services when I was at my lowest of lows, when I couldn't get anywhere with my son. I sat for 2 weeks at a time trying at Common Grounds, waiting and waiting for a bed to open, and they kept seeing my son's file over and over again and deciding that he was too much work. So they kept saying there wasn't a bed available, and then they would have a supervisor keep looking into these hospitals, because it wasn't just the intake department denying him. It was the psychiatrist at the hospital who had seen him and worked with him before. Not to mention, I go in by ambulance. The state police know my home. We go to a hospital in the area, and the bedside manner at the hospitals around here, they don't even want me at the hospitals. They treated me and my son like we had leprosy. I've never, ever, ever been treated so horrible because my son was sick. I've never, ever, ever felt so helpless and hopeless and treated so awful that I've had to call on patient advocacy on so many levels by Hurley, by Genesis, by the hospitals around here, that they don't even want me around. So the next time I call for an ambulance because my son fits criteria, I don't even bother anymore.
Well, I think part of the problem is
treated like crap.
That's the part of the problem. There is the fact that the government is so neck deep in determining what coverage should be and how people are classified and what type of treatment people should receive. And instead, if we could rely on a fair market and we could rely on doctors to make treatment decisions rather than government deciding who fits into what category, I think we'd probably all be in better shape.
Yeah, but Brian, when that comes down to that is, like me as personally, I've been through the mental health situation. I deal with mental health every day. Okay, I've dealt with it for a lot of years. And when you go to a place and you're searching for help, nowadays I've found it that it's very hard to just go out and seek help for yourself when you have a problem and you want to be treated correctly and find the treatment you want. You go to these places and insurance companies only pay for you to stay there 5-7 days, and then they're kicking you back out into the street because they're not getting no more money. And that's not doing anything for people who have real issues when they take you into these places and all they do is fill you up with drugs and send you back to your room drooling on yourself, like...
They call that window liquor.
No, and I agree 100%. And I think that the problem is that the situation got as bad as it is because we put so much control of the system into the hands of the government. And really, this should be mental health problems should be a concern between a parent,
the number one problem
in
the country,
and a provider. And instead, the government has inserted itself in the middle of the problem. And we know, and we can point at thousands of examples of this, where when the government gets involved in a problem, the problem never gets better. The problem always gets worse.
It drags on.
It's stagnant. So, Marissa, what we're going to do is we have to take a commercial break here.
Yeah, but thanks for calling in. That was incredibly powerful information, and the fact of the matter is, healthcare in this country is a complete disaster. But
it's worse, more so in Michigan, and there lies the problem. And Marissa, like always, you know what? Don't ever give up. I mean, you know that, obviously. I'm
here not just a voice for my son, but I'm voicing for the rest of the families
Absolutely.
out there that are in survival mode every single day, battling and suffering, and they need a voice. And it's going to be me, and I don't care if I'm tolerated. If I'm the whistleblower, I'm blacklisted, I don't care, because someone needs to do it.
Well, I don't think people look at you like that. I think people look at you, Marissa, you're a cool chick, you're a good person, you keep fighting, and everybody that's listening, heed this warning, because it's not just Marissa. It can be your neighbor. It can be anybody that you know at any time. Mental illness is the number one problem in the country.
Yep, and again, it's not okay to just, this is Marissa's fight, right? Marissa is taking on this fight because this affects her tremendously, and the problem that we see across the board is that people don't take problems seriously until it affects them personally. And so right now, Marissa is forced to take up this battle, and people are going to ignore it that are not personally affected by it. Stop ignoring the problem, right? There's lots of problems out there,
and stop waiting till it's reactive, and then placing blame. The blame isn't on just the parent. It's because society hasn't taken precautions on what we needed to do to make things better in the first place until it's too late.
Thank you. And on that note, Let's go to a commercial
Marissa,
break.
Thank
you for calling in, and hopefully you can call in next time as well. And best of luck to you.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well, that was strong.
Yeah, she's
super
that's a big
cool.
issue.
Yeah, she's a very cool chick. We're
gonna go to commercial.
Guys, we're gonna take a commercial break. Chris is gonna spin us some of that good shit over there.
Give us a few minutes.
We're gonna take 2 minutes.
Some important messages from our sponsors.
Yeah, exactly.
Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. We're not here to judge ya, we're just here to love ya. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. I see no reason why you can't let your freak flag fly. You get too old, you be Velma. I'm Scooby-Doo. Nothing around here is too taboo. Rock a day like a waterbed. Bring Daphne, Shaggy, but don't tell Fred. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. We're not here to judge ya, we're just here to love ya. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. I see no reason why you can't let your freak flag fly. Crack it like the Liberty Bell. Smack it with the rebel yell. Shake it like a salad toss. Stitch it like Betsy Ross. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. We're not here to judge ya, we're just here to love ya. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. We're not here to judge ya, we're just here to love ya. We're not here to judge ya, we're just here to love ya. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. Let you freak, let you freak, let you freak, flag fly. I see no reason why you can't let your freak flag.
Ugh, I'm so bored.
Why don't we play with this thing?
Ew, what's that thing?
I don't know. Something my grandma gave me for my birthday.
Lame.
Hey, kids!
Hey, Uncle Brian.
Why you guys looking so glum?
It's just, why does everything have to suck?
Yeah, I'm always so bummed out.
Well, shucks, kids, why didn't you say so? I've got just the thing to turn those frowns upside down.
It's not more ADD meds, is it?
No, it's the Thin Blue Line.
Thin Blue Line?
A one-of-a-kind law enforcement simulation card game.
How does it work?
I'm glad you asked. You begin as a rookie and collect busts to exchange for promotions as you climb the ranks, competing for the top spot, Chief of Police.
Cool!
But watch out! Under each promotion card is the Thin Blue Line card, which could make or break your career.
I got your 6, bro!
Whoever has the most promotions and points by the end of the game is Chief.
I'm ready to serve and protect.
We're brothers in blue. You back the blue, Uncle Brian?
As long as it's from 50 feet away, I sure do, thanks to this restraining order. Thin Blue Line, the game. Not suitable for children.
It's that time of day for sniffing like a dog. holiday. Full sniffing like a dog. Can I get some booty? Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can we get down on the floor? Can I get some booty? Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can I have some more? Some booty. Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can we get down on the floor? Can I get some booty? Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can I have some more? Some booty. Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can we get down on the floor? Can I get some booty? Can I have some sweetness? Can I see your beauty? Can I have some more?
Attention listeners, affordable podcast opportunities await. Cave Radio is looking for podcasters to join our ever-growing family. We offer affordable studio time, live shows, caller interaction, podcast archives, video stream-ready studios, and much, much more. For more information, contact bjeer at caveradiobroadcasting.com. That's DEEJER at caveradiobroadcasting.com or bigalcrb@yahoo.com or message us on the Cave Radio Facebook page.
What a great choice of songs Chris keep playing. Fuck the Police, Don't Stand So Close to Me. I mean, that it did take you a while to come up with that.
Well, the Don't Stand So Close to Me.
No,
so
it's just my feelings after the club lets out.
Gotcha.
so that Don't Stand So Close to Me is who's the artist that made that
Sting.
song?
Police.
The Police, right?
The Police.
So Police.
Don't
That became a theme in my campaign when I got my restraining order that the police prohibited me from being within 50 feet of any uniform.
Yeah.
So I was like, this has to be my campaign theme song of the Police singing "Don't Stand So Close to Me." So you have to ignore all the other words because it's a pretty creepy song.
Don't stand so. Yeah.
If you can just picture the Police singing "Don't Stand So Close to Me," then it has some meaning
funny.
in my situation with their restraining.
You know, a lot of stuff is funny and we laugh, but it's not funny.
It's not.
You know, just like Marissa and you know, her views and that. Well, that's not funny. I mean, that's serious. But like Chad, you know, and everybody, it's not funny. I mean, it's at the point where, you know, enough's enough. And politicians, I mean, they should have made you governor.
Well, I didn't want to be governor.
Well, I know, but you could have really caused some trouble.
Wait for 2019, man. I'm telling you, I have good plans and they're realistic plans. Like running for Congress was I going to get elected to Congress? I mean, obviously not, right? But my plan.
But I voted for you.
I
mean, I called in and I casted a vote.
I appreciate it.
You were on the vote, and the one time, I got to say this, I was so pissed. This was a few years ago, Brian, but you know what? You'll get a kick out of it. I went to vote.
Hold on, real quick before you tell your story. I wanted just to remind callers that we are looking for people to call in.
What's the number, Brian?
313-879-5059. So if you call in and Rick's in the middle of something, you might get put on hold for a minute. But we will.
Damn right. No.
Yeah.
No, you won't. But honest to God, I was so pissed. And this was a few years ago, and it was, it was Bush and something. But it was a bad thing going on. And I went to vote, and I'm listening to people standing in line, bitching, moaning, complaining. And I said, fuck this. I'm tired of this shit. I went up to the box. I gave my info, and I said, can I do an add-on? Do an add-on. And the lady says, well, who are you thinking? I go, John Gotti.
Hey, why not?
And I said, what? I go, you heard me. I said, being Sicilian and being Italian, you see how he ran the Gambino family. You know, and people are like, well, that's not funny. I go, you think this government's funny?
Right.
Because I'm not laughing.
There's no difference except they have this veil of legitimacy that people who don't know anybody any better can't see through. So yeah, I mean, really, the government is a racket, right? It's as organized crime as any organized crime outfit that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, why not, man?
People thought I was kidding, and I said it loud enough because I wanted people to hear me because I wasn't fucking kidding. The lady was basically like, "How dare you?" And I'm like, "Well, how dare you? You think these people are going to help you? If John Gotti would have been president, I'd have been saved. He loves me." So, but again, we laugh, but is it really funny?
No, it's not. I mean, we know, and this is why people like me run for political office. It's not because we're delusional and think that we're ever going to get elected, and that cracks me up. Like, well, we got another caller. Let's see what we have coming on the line. You're live.
You
with
are
Rick
live.
and Brian.
Who's this?
Hey guys, how are you?
How-
Matt Jennings from Soft Magazine.
Matt Jennings. Hey, Matt, what's up, buddy?
Hey, congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you, sir. This is Matt Jennings from Soft Magazine. He does fantastic. You know, Matt, you got to make me and Brian a spoof cover. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I will do that.
I know you will. What's up, man? What's shaking? What's happening? What's going on?
Well, I'm listening to you guys talk. I like where she was going. I kind of deal with the same issue with my daughter. I'm pretty much a single dad. Her mom's out of the picture, and she's a handful. I put her through Children's Village. I've put her through therapy, and it just isn't working. And I've realized now that the only thing you really can do with with kids that you really can't help through, your actions is to just let them fall on their ass. And this is what I unfortunately have to do.
How old's your daughter, Matt?
She's 17. I started working with her when she was 14. And it's been a long road. I got a bill from the county for $25,000 that I got to pay.
Nice.
And it hasn't done a lick of good. But obviously it's worth it because 10 years from now, she's going to be going, "Man, Dad, I'm really glad you didn't give up on me. And, you tried so many things before I had to go and, learn the hard way." But it's tough.
That's what my son says, man. That's what Anthony says. Says the same thing. You didn't give up on me. But I just take him in the back and beat the shit out of him.
Well, you can't give up. I mean, and I think that is fundamentally one thing that we have to look at and we have to accept as parents. And some parents are blessed with perfect children and there's no issues, and others are not. But ultimately, that's what we have to do as parents is we have to own the responsibility. We bring somebody in the world, and we have to be able to do whatever we have to do to take care of them. And I just wish that we weren't in a society where people said, "Hey, I need help," and looked to the government to solve those problems. Because before that happened, and when people really relied on family units and they relied on community, we didn't have the problems we have right now. But since so many people think that they can look to the government to solve their problems, the problems only get worse because everybody knows the government doesn't solve problems, they create problems. And so we need to look back at community-based solutions where people can come together in cooperatives and they can work on solving these problems rather than looking for these elected bureaucrats that all they care about is where they're getting their donations from so that they can get elected again so they can collect their own insurance benefits and their pensions.
And it's a shame, and I know you agree, Matt. I interrupted you. And the thing is about it is like, you know that I speak with you, Matt, and Matt's a real good dude, and he's a hard worker and a good guy, and the problem with all this shit is it's happening to good people. And I think for years, a lot of people are like, "Oh, wow, what's he doing wrong?" Just like Marissa. "Oh, she's got to be doing something wrong." And the fact of the matter is, you can be outstanding parents. You can be outstanding citizens. You can be a stellar of your community. I grew up in Clarkston. Look how fucked up I am.
Yeah,
and I grew up in Clarkston.
Yeah, that says a lot.
Shut
man.
up, Brian. And but it's a point that like and Matt, I know your situation because we talked about it. You know, my son Anthony's been through some things, and you know, again, he's a good kid. I've done everything that I can. I mean, I'm not the, I guess, model parent of the year, but I've done a lot of good shit, and I've done bad shit, but I've done a lot of good shit.
Well, let me speak on that real quick. That was your son talking earlier, right?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, dealing with like mental illness and stuff. I think a lot of us deal with it in a lot more now that it's out in the light of day. But you know, science has really kind of honed in on things that we thought were just kind of loose and off as a real, just not serious, but a real chemical imbalance. And I deal with a few things, and I've learned one thing out of anything is we have way too much information coming at us all the time, and this is pretty much directing it towards your son. I try and be really careful at what kind of information I'm letting myself get in front of. Sometimes it's best if you give yourself a day or two where you can kind of get away from all the information, because our brains aren't designed to deal with the phone and the TV and the computer and the driving and the work and the this and the that. And I think that I've learned a lot by understanding how my brain works and understanding what's too much and what I can handle. And that's one of the biggest problems for kids nowadays. It's with my daughter too. There's no easy way to handle life when you've got 30,000 different pieces of media flying at you at the speed of light, and you still got to try and pass math class.
See, and then on top of that, Matt, you deal with, like you said, social media. You know, you have to worry about nowadays for in high school, the acceptance, the belongingness, the you got to worry about, because everything is so broadcast and so open that you do anything or you share anything and everybody knows it, and it's going to get the backlash back at you. And when you deal with mental health, you know, that escalates things so much more, because you feel yourself differently when you have mental health, you know, and society views you differently when you have mental health.
How old are you? How old are you, Anthony?
I will be 22 on Tuesday.
Hey,
okay, yeah.
Happy birthday, bud.
Generation Z. Now, do you agree, Rick? Do you agree with me? I think that the kids nowadays actually do have it a lot worse. You know, our generation, our parents said, "Oh, well, it's different," but it really wasn't.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, okay, you remember summers? I went outside. I played outside all day. I didn't come in.
All day.
We had an Atari in 1978. Well, fuck, that thing was, I mean, once we got that, it was like, holy shit, look at this thing. But, I mean, we were out all day. Remember, you never got sick. You played outside. I had Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. We played outside. We didn't have all this extra stuff. And I do agree with you, Matt. And, you know, like, I remember this, and I always used to say this to a lot of people. I would sit in the bedroom, and Anthony would send me a message, "Hey, Dad, what are you doing?" I'm like, "What am I doing? I'm watching a movie. What the fuck are you doing?" So he's playing a video game on the computer and sending me a message, all three at the same time. He's playing Nazi zombies and doing it, and it is a lot. And then it's social acceptance, and then the bullying. Now, you know, and I can relate to that, and a lot of people don't know this. You know, when I was a kid, Matt, I was picked on. I was beat up. I was little. I was a teeny little Italian kid in Clarkston, and I got beat up. And I started fighting back.
Bad. I'm tall, and I got beat up because I was tall and goofy looking. So
yeah, you're definitely goofy looking. Yeah, you're definitely goofy looking, but we won't hold that. I won't hold that against you, bro. No, but anyway, so I mean, our problems were like it was minor today. Like, I've listened to Anthony all these years about, you know, things he goes through. And it also seems that mental illness is so prevalent now. Even the fucking dogs are depressed. I mean, it's like, is it in the food? Is it in the water?
Right. It definitely seems like it's amplified. That's the thing. And then the other thing is, and
it's amplified the information that is constantly coming at us at the speed of light. That's the problem.
Right. It seems like doctors are just more anxious to make diagnosis. And is it people, are so many people actually mentally ill? And obviously there's people that have issues with concentrating. Does that just mean that they're kids though? Does that mean that they just, they want to do something other than sit in a chair and look in the same direction and raise their hand before they speak? And instead of us looking at what is this an actual problem, what we're doing is we've created this society where what the right thing to do is to sit on your ass, keep your mouth shut, raise your hand if you want to talk, don't disturb anybody else. And the reality is that kids want to be creative. Kids want to do other things. And we've taken away that ability to be creative in so many different ways just by the fact that we've taken away things like shop classes and different vocational training and stuff like that. And we're trying to put every single kid in the same box. And so when the kids don't fit in that same box, we have a doctor that says, "Oh, it's because of ABC. All we've got to do is prescribe this medication that is either going to make his mind numb or it's going to destroy his brain, one way or another. And he's just got to take this drug for the rest of his life, and everything will be fine." And so, I think that it becomes a problem of the expectations that we've set in society, and where now all these kids who have been diagnosed as, quote, being mentally ill, when what they are, and again, some of them are certainly have mental illness, but what they are is they're just kids. They're kids that want to be kids, that want to be creative, that want to do something other than sit in a freaking chair for 8 hours a day looking at a teacher that's teaching something that they don't even believe in.
When you're just a slightly different, you it feels like nowadays that having an opinion is a crime, man. And I say that full-heartedly. And when you have a different opinion other than what society feels or what they expect you to think and what they expect you to believe, they shun you out and treat you like a black sheep because, like Brian said, everybody's supposed to fall in line and make dues and pay their dues and, have a nice day, go to college, go to school, do what you're supposed to do. But then in this world, we didn't create our world and have the things that we did from everybody being exactly the same every single way.
Well, that was 1950 era, when we used to watch Leave It to Beaver. And you know what? It's sad, but like my father, who passed away years ago, he was still under that thing where you could walk by a store, Brian, and see a help wanted sign, and you could walk in there and say, "Hi, Mr. Ellison, I'm Rick Bastu. I'd love to have the job." And you could reach around and pull the sign out and start that day. Well, guess what? Them days are long gone where now it's background checks, fingerprints, spread your ass. What'd you do last night? What drugs are you taking? Who do you know? It's this big, long
how did we get to that point?
The government, they created this thing where it and it's sad because if you watch, I made a Bronx Tale reference, Matt. I don't know if you listened, but I made a Bronx Tale, that movie, because my mother grew up like that. And, we watched that movie and it's cool. And it's a shame because that's the society of old. Like, I was just on the East Coast, and even the East Coast is still... I was in New River, Massachusetts, where Lizzie Borden was. Man, and people are so cool out there, and it's this tight-knit, and a lot of Italians out there, so, I'm right at home. That's a good thing. But, I think Michigan is lacking, and Michigan is lacking, I really think, in a lot of things between mental illness... Gretchen, fuck the roads. Our roads are terrible, but how about prison reform? Like I keep saying, we're number one in the country now for insurance. So here's a good one for you. My car is $128 a month on insurance. I was in Rhode Island. I went past the State Farm, went in there. $68. Same fucking insurance. Yeah. So now you explain this. Exactly. So explain it. So it's not a question of, Well, because where's the money's going? You want me to tell you where the money goes in Michigan? Because it doesn't go to education, because my sister-in-law, Tracy's a school teacher. She complains. And it doesn't go to the roads, as you know. It goes to the prison.
I'm here to fix the roads.
It's going to be up to $4 billion, Brian Ellison. Take that number in your head. $4 billion a year for prison. You know why? Because in Michigan and society, if we can't fix them, fuck them. We'll put them behind bars.
Yeah, well, that's part of the machine that keeps it running.
It's not running, though, Matt.
Get from the fines and and then first they're asking the government for subsidies for their prisons and stuff. I will say one thing. I don't smoke weed. Not that I think it's a bad thing. I just can't because I'm a chassis hauler.
Okay,
but,
sure.
When they passed that bill or that law, I was so happy because there are probably hundreds of thousands of people that are sitting in jail or prison for a small amount of marijuana.
Matt, you don't even know the number. You don't even know the number, buddy.
Could be out working.
Oh my God! Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
and you know what? When we take the so you're talking about how much money is spent on prison, and if we could come up with prison reform, if we stopped locking people up for stupid bullshit, right?
Yes.
If we stopped sending people to prison because it's a business, guess what we could do?
We could fix the damn roads. Oh my God, Gretchen, you dumb fuck! You'd have the roads fixed.
Let's start at the top, though. That's the problem. You've got a prosecutor who is pressured to doing one thing and one thing only.
Prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. That's their key.
Putting the person away.
Yep.
And only goddamn job.
Right, and it has nothing to do with truth. And both Rick and I can attest to this. I mean, I don't know if you're at all familiar with my background, but right now I'm going through a bunch of shit in the city of Royal Oak, just stupid minor charges, but they're pushing it as hard as they can push it in order to get a conviction. And you don't even have to break the law in order for these guys to come in and try and get their pound of flesh from you. It's ridiculous. It's a broken system, and that's where that's where the reform needs to come in. Is there needs to be more civilian oversight instead of you just getting caught up in a club that is run by the same people. You have the police department that works with the prosecutor, that works with the judges, and they're all one homogenous group. And once you're in that system, they're all against you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about with my daughter. To go full circle here, my daughter, I have a choice of Tuesday, either getting in the car and driving to the courthouse and putting her, setting her back for being incorrigible, like I did before. But the one thing I'm worried about is that she's going to get caught back in the system because their job, when they get a certain age, is, we have to do it this way because this is the way we're supposed to. If we don't do it this way, then we'll lose our job. And that's why we need to start at the top. And, I don't even think it's actually the prosecutor's fault. It's almost like the prosecutor has to do it this way. I mean, because they got to do it with cops too. I mean, you see these cops that are sitting there, and they have to plea bargain and everything, just like us. It has to be fixed at the top, or else my daughter and Anthony, in a different dimension, if you were getting in trouble, you were all stuck in this system because it's built to. Well, we already talked about it. We don't even need to keep going.
Sure,
right.
No.
You guys said it.
And the only thing I would add to that is that you mentioned that it has to start at the top, and I think that I would kind of take exception to that because what you have within the system is you have millions of individuals that are involved. You have millions of people that wake up every day and decide that they're going to continue to be a part of this system that they know is broken. They make conscious decisions to do things that they know are unethical, that are immoral, that hurt people, and instead of making the difference and being the voice of reason and trying to change that system, what they do is they perpetuate it because they value their paycheck and their pension more than they value morality and human life. And so I think that we can blame it on the people at the top, but that defense didn't work for the Nazis in Germany, and it doesn't work for the order followers today either.
I agree. Nice cap. Before I go, let me just say one thing. I want to thank all you Drew and Mike listeners out there that have enjoyed the Soft Magazine content that I'm putting out. I have never felt more love than with this community of people that are growing, and not just the DMP guys, but now that you've got Righteous Rick and everybody. I want to thank everybody for being so kind and enjoying the work. It has really been a fulfilling part of my life this past year, and I hope to keep going with it.
Well, your shit is good, man. I tell everybody. I like I said, make one for me and Brian, and that'll be our autograph picture. And he does really good work.
That's
Brian.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
He's done some shit for me that just Mark and Drew and Trudy just they love it. But Matt, you know what, buddy? Thanks a lot, man.
No, you got it. It's purposefully not good though. You got it. Don't compare it to some of these guys on here that are amazing. I am not good. I just have a certain style that makes it goofy.
Yeah, but your style is good, so it's not a question of who's better than that. Your style is funny. It's
all in the eye of the beer holder.
It's all in the beer holder, and these beer holders.
Right, the beer holder.
We love Soft Magazine. You know what, and you know what, Matt. You know what I think of Drew, Mark, and Trudy, and Mike, and I love all them guys. Even though I'd kick Mark's ass right now if he was here, because as much shit as he gives me, but. At the end of the day, man, we're all friends, and like you said, the Drew and Mike community we're real tight knit, and we still mourn the loss of Mikey, but everything is cool, and we're all together, and I'm speaking from experience because they all fuck with me. I mean, they all fuck.
Even the listeners.
Even everybody fucks with me, but you know what? I've gotten to the last 9 years of it where I take it in stride, and I meet fans all the time and sign autographs and hang out with people, just like like we did at Mesa. Man, it was that's good stuff to meet all you guys out there. And but listen, Matt, we're gonna let you go. Thank you, and hey, you guys
I gotta go first.
Yeah, but get the whole thing together so we can have the Drew and Mike get together. You guys get that all together because I already told you guys I'd be there.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. One more thing. Killers Christmas, December 13th at 4 o'clock at the Lodge in Keagle Harbor. Matt Riley's going to bring a whole bunch of guys. I'm sure Drew and Mike will be there, but why don't you guys listen? Come on out and help a charity.
All you got to do is let me know, Matt. I'll be there, buddy.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
All right, thanks, bud.
Later.
Talk to you.
All right, bye.
He's a good dude.
He sounds like it.
Yeah, he really is, and
so it's Soft Magazine. Is
Soft Magazine, and he makes the.
Spell it. What? Because are you
Soft?
SOFT. Yes. Soft Magazine.
And
okay.
he does pictures. I'm going to show you some, and I've already autographed his pictures that he's made for me, and Matt's flair is cool. I know he's trying to get into this.
We got to get him to be a sponsor. We're giving him all this free airtime. We need a sponsor. We need more sponsors.
Guys, yeah, that's another
While we're
thing.
talking about sponsors.
Let's talk about sponsors.
One thing I just wanted to bring up, and hopefully you guys heard the commercial earlier, but we do have a great sponsor, and that sponsor is Thin Blue Line, the game. And what this is it's a one-of-a-kind simulation law enforcement card game that allows you the opportunity to play a game and act as if you're an actual police officer. And we all know what that means. It gives you opportunity to lie, cheat, and steal your way to promotions. And so this game is available at thinbluelinegame.com. It's a fantastic game. The pre-orders have already come in, I think actually today, tonight. This is the last day to get the pre-orders at the low price of $19 per deck. After that, the price is going up, and we expect the first delivery to come through just before Christmas. So buy one for yourself. Buy one for your favorite bootlicker. They will love it.
Take it to your favorite police station.
Absolutely.
Because you know what?
Drop a copy off for the chief of police.
Well, when they're sitting there eating donuts and not doing a lot of anything except looking through files on who to fuck with next, I'll tell you what, guys. Brian actually brought one of the decks in that the creators, did they send that to you?
Yeah, this is actually
so the creators actually sent Brian the
prototype
proto
01.
And you guys, it's fucking hilarious. Chris, did you see this? Yeah. Oh my God, you got to take a look at that, because that's you know what, guys, games like that are really funny. And what I was gonna do is I'm gonna get some when the factory makes them. I'll pass them out to some of the Drew and Mike listeners, my fans. And you guys just sit and play it, get trashed,
dude.
And
It's a party
funny.
game.
It's a party game.
Awful Cards Against Humanity.
It's better than Cards Against Humanity. Yeah.
Yes.
Cards Against Humanity is a great game, and in fact, when the developers of the game started, that was the concept they were working off of, and instead they came up with a much better game. It's got great gameplay. The games last about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, so you can play game after game.
The only problem is you got to watch who you play it with, because if you play it with cop lovers, then you're outside beating the shit out of each other. They're throwing shit. They're fighting.
That's perfect.
Is that the premise of the game?
Yeah.
So get it out of your system, and then everybody can love each other. But guys, that's one of our big sponsors. And how long did it take for us to grab that one, Brian? That was in the woodworks for how long?
It was in the works for a while. I've been working with this group since they started developing the game itself, and I've been kind of the face man for their products, which is fantastic. And
who better?
Right. I mean, who better?
Only me would have been better.
The only guy. Have you ever gotten a restraining order from every police officer on the planet? Come on.
I have.
Come on.
I have I have a fucking file that'll choke people. But guys, on the oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
On that note,
what
are you had?
But sponsors, yeah, there it is, sponsors. But sponsors, guys, you know what? We're always looking in. Let me tell you this. Okay, this is coming from me. We talked about Petroni's Cut Above and Two Hot Tamales in Grand Rapids and George's Flowers in Clinton Township and IKEA, which is my buddy Rich First Signs in that. But once this takes off, and we use my leverage with Brian's and everything, it's going to be a big thing.
That's going to be
it's going to be it's going to be big. And you know what? Why not air your business with us? Rates are cheap. Now them guys, they paid pretty good, but we're also promoting everything. But it's a cool thing to hear your name on this podcast. And you know what? We're getting a lot of it. I mean, guys, let's be honest. This is only the second show, so let's call it like it is. I've had a following for years. With Righteous Rick and Drew and Mike. Brian has a big following. He's like me. He's famous for being infamous.
That's right. And my following's growing. I mean, I have a very, very young new YouTube channel, just over 5,600 subscribers. And really, the subscribers were growing.
What was your highest video you ever had?
My highest one, yes. I think it was up around 130,
128, 130.
Let me see where it is.
Because I think I seen 128.
120. This one was 120.
So 120,000.
91,000 on this one.
So guys, if you're listening to these numbers, I mean 120,000. I mean, let's be honest. It's not Justin Bieber's new little faggot video that has 100 million, but for 120,000 viewers. We're going to tag these. We're going to put them on YouTube. So imagine 120,000 people, because everybody's calling in. And I'll tell you what, guys, the owner and the head guy of the company just gave me a thumbs up and said, guys, great show.
This has been a great show.
So now that's a good sign. And so, you know what? Get a hold of me. Get a hold of Brian. We'd love to have sponsors. We love to talk about them. You know what I mean? This whole show isn't just bashing people. It's more of a show to learn, understand, and the government. And here's the thing, and Brian knows this. This show here, what we talk about, it affects everybody, every single person in Michigan. because we're talking about Michigan, and then we'll air it, and we'll go in different states.
I mean, I've got listeners all over.
Oh,
the country,
absolutely,
bro.
and so do I, from California to
and
Chicago.
Michigan has its own unique issues, but these problems are universal.
Absolutely.
I mean, the problem of government destroying people's lives is not unique to Royal Oak. It's not unique to Michigan. It's not unique to Washington County. It's all over the world, and that's a universal truth. Government hurts people. Government doesn't help people, and that's basically the concept of the show. But aside from just acknowledging that, we don't want, like Rick said, we're not here to just bash people. I would honestly love it if we could get a cop, a judge, a prosecutor to call in and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about why you do the things you do. Let's talk about why you think they're moral and why you think they're right. I mean, maybe you can convince us. I mean, we've both had some pretty shitty situations, but I think that the way that things get better is by talking with people that we disagree with and not by simply talking with people that we agree with. When we talk in circles, when we talk in our echo chambers, we get these loud cheers and everybody feels good about themselves, but we never make any changes. And so the goal of this show is to reach outside of those echo chambers and to be able to talk to people from different beliefs, from different backgrounds. And Rick, you know why we're here. We're going to change the fucking world, bro.
Oh, that's it. One call at a time. I'd love to change the world.
One caller
You know
at a
what?
time.
According to everybody, when I de-pants that fucker at the Lions game, that changed the world. So that's where it started.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that was the plateau.
You set the precedent
I
that it was
set the
okay to
precedent.
take somebody's pants off at a football game and hold them on the back of a seat. I mean, that changed the world. It was clearly changed the world.
And since we're talking about that, I had some guys today ask me again to call them out. So wherever the fuck you are, you know who you are with that hairy ass. Call in. We'd love to hear from you. Well, me, Drew, and Mike tried for years to call him out. It's still, he never will. He's a fucking idiot. But no, guys, you know what? Just like I put the word out, and it was actually before I even met Brian. And you guys remember when I put the word out that I wanted to do a podcast, I wanted to do a show. Now, my show was going to be a little bit different than this, but then when I hooked up with Brian, it was good chemistry about, the self-loathing and I don't want to say hatred. It's such a strong word, but it's a slight case of hatred for the police and the bad shit they do. And I mean, my story, I could talk for a month straight every single day about what happened to me. And I can read from transcripts, Brian, and I'll tell you this. If we really open this up and really get into it, I'll bring some transcripts, and even you will cringe.
Well, of course,
I'm telling you,
of course we're going to
even you will cringe where you will say, I don't believe that. Holy shit, until I have my court documents. They pulled so much bad stuff. And what I like about a no-nonsense show like this is we're going to say what we want. Fuck you if you don't like it. And, my listeners, you guys know who I am, and you know how I am. I'll tell you to fuck off, and I don't care what you think. And that's just me. And Brian's a lighter version of that. He's the same way. He'll tell you to fuck off. He does it in a little bit more casual way than I do because he's white and I'm Italian.
It's eloquent.
It's
a more eloquent way.
He's more eloquent than I am. Yeah. Whatever. Shut up.
Watch my videos. No, if you doubt that, just check out my YouTube channel, which is Brian Ellison, and that's where you'll find we're going to be uploading all the podcasts every week, which are actually also available on cbrradio.com. You can listen to them there, but we are going to add the podcast on the YouTube channel as well, and there's going to be some video to go along with it. So check that channel out. But yeah, if you look at that channel and you look at some of these videos and you see the things that I've done and the situations, I mean, frankly, I've created the situations myself, but it really illustrates a lot of the problems with the system and how once you get caught up in the system, it's like a tornado.
But not at first you didn't. And I've said this to you, Brian, and I'll say it to everybody. And I'll tell you what. Guys, the first time I saw Brian's video, when he got arrested, he was in Royal Oak. I thought it was at the Arts Eats and Beats, and I thought, what the fuck did this fucking idiot do? And I said, I got to check it out. Well, as I started watching his videos and started seeing this, I'm like, oh, my God. these guys are pulling stuff to this poor guy that they did to me. I'm like, well, I got to reach out to him. And my premise of having a show was to talk about my case, because a lot of you guys know, I got ripped off by an auction house, Randy Kesselring, that piece of shit from Great Lakes Auction. I retaliated. I'm the one that got convicted, and I'm the one that got sent to jail. So then when I saw Brian's, First Amendment, and I thought it was actually a First Amendment audit, and I'm like, oh, I got to watch this because I watch them. And I'm like, I got to hook up with this guy. And at first, remember I told you, Brian, I didn't know if you were, for some reason, I thought you were in New York. And then I'm like, oh, my God, that's Royal Oak. Then I thought, is that the Arts Eats and Beats? And I'm like, oh, my God, I think it is. And then it was at a rally or what was that, a rally or a run?
It was the first one was at a 5K run.
It was at the
sponsored
5K,
by the police.
Yeah.
And then the second arrest was at the groundbreaking for the police station. So they were both very police-related events, which is
where they were going to take away your First Amendment right of freedom of speech.
Of
and that's how it started, guys, where Brian was just out there doing his First Amendment, freedom of speech. He had a sign out there. He didn't have a gun. He wasn't waving nothing around. Because I'll be honest with you.
The second time I had a gun.
Yeah. Guys, we're on the 3-minute mark. Well, that doesn't matter because you have a legal gun. But honestly, guys, he had a sign. And I thought, well, this fucking guy's doing shit. And he didn't. And the bad thing about it is when they take away your First Amendment rights, that's where it starts. And Brian is now the mouthpiece. I would say tool, but that sounds too fucked up.
Oh, I mean, I'm a tool.
But,
that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with being called a tool.
But that's where it starts, and it starts with taking away your First Amendment. Then it starts with the Second Amendment, open carry. Why do you got that gun, boy? They got you on the ground, right? They got you at gunpoint because you have a right to bear arms and you have a right to open carry in Michigan. How old is it? And that law is what, 1847 or some bullshit? And they fuck with you and they fuck with us.
Yep.
And once they do that, guys, you know what? It's done. But Brian, we got 2 minutes left.
Yep.
So I want to thank all the callers in.
Yep. The other, if you are curious, again, just check out that YouTube channel. There's
Where's
a
that
bunch
at,
of stuff on there.
What is it?
Just called Brian Ellison on YouTube.
Spell it.
BRIAN.
Yep.
ELLISON.
Because you have some people that need practical
That's right.
advice. Excuse me.
And before we sign off, I also wanted to announce that we have booked a special guest for next week. A gentleman by the name of Adam,
Donald Trump?
Yeah, no, better than that. Gentleman by the name of Adam Kokesh. He's actually a good friend of mine who brought me into the Liberty Movement. If you know First Amendment audits and YouTube channels that challenge the police, then you know Adam Kokesh from Adam versus the Man. And he will be calling in next week. We'll have him on the second half of the show. We'll be calling in at 9 o'clock. He's been arrested, 3 dozen times or something. And so we're going to focus on his experience with the criminal justice system.
Yep. Guys, we have 1 minute left. I just want to thank everybody for calling in, everybody for tuning in. I want to thank my kiddo, Anthony, for being part of this.
No, thank you guys for having me on the show tonight.
Shut up. He didn't say a lot today.
Thanks
we
for
want
being
to thank we want to thank Chris for running the boards for us. Chris, thanks, bro. Guys, tune in, watch the videos, do us a favor. Like it, comment, share it. Let's spread this word around because guess what? Between me and Brian, we're not going away.
Yep. And if you're looking for a sponsorship, you better contact us quick because somebody's going to bite on that.
Well, Chad that called in, he's got a business. He needs to get a hold of us.
Chad needs to
get a hold of us, man. We'll hook you up. Guys, Righteous Rick, Brian, and Anthony, we're signing off.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Resistance to tyranny. Peace.
Resistance to tyranny.